But the discordant cry of their enemies echoed back, and a mournful lament for their children sounded throughout the land. The slave suffered the same punishment as the master, and commoners experienced the same loss as the king. By the death of the firstborn, they all had countless dead. There were not enough living to bury the dead, for in one moment their most favored children were destroyed. Earlier, they would not have believed this could happen, for they trusted in their magic arts. But when their firstborn were destroyed, they acknowledged your people to be God's child. While all things were wrapped in utter silence and the night was halfway through its swift course, your almighty word leapt down from your royal throne in heaven and entered the doomed land like a fierce warrior. Carrying the sharp sword of your unchanging command, it stood and spread death everywhere. While standing on earth it reached to heaven. Apparitions in horrible dreams terrified the people, and unexpected fears came over them. As people everywhere were hurled to the ground half dead, they testified as to the reason they were dying. For their nightmares had forewarned them about this, so that they would not die without knowing why they suffered. But even the righteous experienced death. In the desert you struck the people with a plague. But your wrath did not continue long, for Aaron, a blameless man, hurried to the people's defense. Bringing forth the shield of his ministry, prayer and incense that satisfies you, he withstood your wrath and put an end to the disaster. This showed that he was your servant. He overcame the destruction, but not by physical strength or force of arms. With a word he subdued the one who punished them, invoking the oaths and covenants given to our ancestors. After the dead had fallen on one another in heaps, Aaron intervened and stopped the wrath, cutting off its access to the living. On his long robe the whole world was depicted, and the glories of the ancestors were engraved on the 4 rows of stones on his ephod. Your majesty was written on the diadem, the turban on his head. To these the destroyer yielded, for he feared them. This single test of wrath was enough,